Okay, our tech video for today is going to be covering making snow chains for your RC tires. There are a lot of guys and RC enthusiasts such as myself that like to drive their RCs in the snow, and if you have chains you can get a lot further and a lot deeper snow than you normally would if you just use the tires alone. You can make chains for either size, 2.2 which I just showed you, or 1.9. This is the new Maxxis Axial 1.9. Chains fit pretty good on there. Want to have good wrap around the sidewall so they don't come off in vines and the tire compresses and stuff like that. So I can show you a few tips here on how to make your own. Basically what I do is I like to have the sidewall chain come about halfway down the sidewall from the top of the tread where it meets the wheel. And if you figure out what that measurement is, which using some calipers, kind of lay it across there and get a rough guesstimate of about 3.5 inches. So what I did is I laid out some string around that diameter. Get it roughly where you need it to be. And then take a measurement of that to make sure that you're close to that 3.5 range or whatever dimension you need to come to. And then I cut the string so I knew exactly what length I needed the side chains to be. You can lay that out next to the side chain. You can kind of see that it's the same length. Now the next thing I wanted to do is figure out the dimension for the cross sections of chain going from sidewall to sidewall. To do that, I laid out another piece of string about where that 3.5 mark fell, pull it over the top of the lug, and set it against the other side where that chain would fall. Cut that to length, and then you have the exact length you need for your cross section pieces. When I make a set of chains, I like to have at least 10, maybe 15 cross section pieces. It seems to work the best in deep, heavy snow. You basically want, as one chain link comes off the ground, the next chain link will touch, and that's the way to get the best traction in deep snow, and especially on ice. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and lay it out, figure out the length I needed for the side, and pre-cut 2 pieces, and then started to lay the chains across, which you can see here I've already pre-sectioned all these pieces to the length needed. So it's just a matter of counting the links you need and dropping them in. I found that every three links or so works best. Gives you plenty of cross section. You can see I have one completed here that I'm about to duplicate, and it has 10 cross links, which is, like I said, the minimum I suggest. So we'll go ahead, and I already counted out the first 3 links and laid the first cross section in there. Now we'll count out 3 more on each side and lay that in there. And we'll just use needle nose pliers to bend it straight, to bend it so it doesn't come off. I'm using this Cow RC mat, which is magnetic, so it really helps lay the steel chain out and keep it tight when you're counting for links. On the other side, we'll go ahead and bend this link and tie it into the other sidewall chain. Once you have that bent, you can count out 3 links from where you tied the last cross section in. Slide it through. And use your needle nose pliers to bend it. You'll keep repeating that process all the way down the length of it. Every 3 links, insert a cross link. It's easier if you pre-bend all these ends, so you can just hook them and bend them. Tie it in. Crimp it down. And there you have the almost finished chain. What we'll do at this point is wrap it around the sidewalls of the tire, install it basically complete, and then we'll add this last link in between as needed. It's just easier to tie them on the first time if you have a little slack to work with. Set your tire into place, pull it on each side and roll it up. Work it into position. Leave 2 links open on the ends, and you can basically just tie it together. Once you get it hooked, work it around. Center the chain up side to side on the tire. Center it up on the sidewall as best you can. You can see the little extra gap we have here. We'll fill that in with that last link of chain. And there's the finished product pretty much. If you find you have too much slack in the side chains, you can always take a rubber band, hook it on each end, pull it tight as needed. Now you can always add more chain later. You can do cross sections in an X pattern or just a Z pattern, whatever you feel like doing, and that'll help tighten them up a little bit too. As to do these 2 tires complete, it took 10 feet of chain. These are 2.2 axial ripsaws, which are about the same size as the Proline Super Swampers. So you'd need probably at least 20 feet to do all 4. This is all I had left, about a 10-inch piece from the 10-foot section that I bought from the hardware store. There are different diameter chains available. For the 1/9s I use a lot smaller chain, which is a little more tedious to work with, but the scale realism is pretty much spot on. Here you can see a shot of the finished product on my Project Rancho. Looks pretty good and should definitely help in the snow. I can't wait to get up to Big Bear and try them out. That does it for this tech video. Take care, like and subscribe, and tune in next time. We'll see you then.